Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Wartscenter. We've got another week of games to talk about, and another week of games coming up as we get a third of the way through the season. So I'm joined today by Coach Ivan, Coach Cody, and now on camera exclusive Coach Brando. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Doing real good.
Doing
real
real
good.
Complain. I'm so excited to be here.
Wonderful. So, without further ado, let's get into the week of matches. So,
Right into the news.
Yep. The Ciudad El Gigante Trillo Luchadores take a 1-2 loss to the SCLSU Mud Claws. The Butchers Bay Dragons go scoreless against the Cause of Dune Dark Iron in a 2-0 victory. The Vermin Skulkers and the Amazon Snooze in the night 0-0 off of a technicality, which we'll get to a little later. The Manhattan Mutant Mayhem win 1-0 against the New England Matriarchs. The Uptau's Chosen Grung and the Underheim Mighty Rats tie 2-2 in a high-scoring affair. The Lizards with Attitude take a 2-0 victory over the Gloomstalker Dragonaires. And in our marquee matchup, the Black Forest Guardians win 2-1 against the Los Alamos Aliens.
Brandon Bowl.
In the Brandon Bowl. Brandon Bowl 6. It's now what, 4-2? 4-2 this Brandon?
It should have been 500. It should have been 500, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the broadcast, go watch it. I'm not even trying to shill. It's just a really good game of Blood Bowl.
No, it's probably one of the best games I've ever played. Yep. It was a great game.
Yep, it's a good game of Blood Bowl.
If you listen close enough, you can also hear my game of Blood Bowl
also
being played during the stream.
You can hear the other game of Blood Bowl. There's commercials. There's fake commercials. It's a whole production this time around. So
we're cranking up production value here.
Yep. And for those of you confused what Scrimbus Airways is, our Goblin team from Season 1, the champion, Guttersburg Game Stealers, had a Doom Diver, Dingle Scrimbus. He was the league MVP, so that's his airway. Anyway, anything else stand out? Anything you guys want to talk about before we get into the actual play-by-plays?
What's the three words we always say? What a week! We said that
I was trying to avoid it this time. Yeah,
that was a week. That's our catchphrase at this point. Mm-hmm. What a week!
Yep.
What a week, gang! Am I right?
Yep. I tried to start off saying something other than "What a week" of Blood Bowl, but
yep.
What a week! What a week! What a week!
What a week! Yeah. Crazy stuff. So let's get into it. So, the SCLSU Mud Claws put on a bit of a clinic here. 4 casualties to the Trolls 1. Looks like. Looks like even though they led in the casualties, they lost Mama, the Croxagore, for next game. So that's going to hurt going down the line. And then it looks like all of the casualties for the Trollo Luchadors that they received were all Snotlings. So easily replaceable.
Unlike a Croxagore.
Unlike a Croxagore. So yeah, he may have got the win, but he made it hurt.
Won the battle, but did he cost him the war? You know,
I guess we'll find out when we get into the week's following matchup. I think there's a big matchup for each of these crews coming up. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, not too bad. Some fouling action, lots of fouling. The Mud Claws.
The fouling is huge. I know we'll talk about it later, but the fouling numbers from the Mud Claws this season are off the charts.
Yeah,
I'm impressed.
Yeah,
coaches love to foul. So,
mm-hmm. And I mean, the Mud Claws coach, I've talked to him. He has got murder on the mind, and that's the goal for the season. So, living up to it so far. All right, Ivan, take it away. I'm not even gonna say anything. Let's talk about it.
This was quite a match, honestly. Turn 1, the coach of the Matriarchs waltzes in, kills my Chaos Blocker Rafferty straight up. And I thought that was it. I thought that was game. But little did any of us know, God was with me in that Chili's that night. Because turn 8 of the first half, I managed to pull a maneuver by blitzing a prone player clearing away, and then using every bit of movement my other piece had to squeak out the touchdown by the skin of my teeth. And I was so enthralled by this, I screamed every last detail over the stream. So if anyone wants to go back and watch the stream at about the 2.5 hour mark, you'll hear exactly what happened.
2:18:25.
2:18:25. Thank you, Brando. You'll hear exactly what happened.
I'll add. I'll add the timestamp. Yeah. I'll add the timestamp before this show goes live.
Very good.
Yep.
No, it was a very hard fought match. The coach of the Matriarchs really made me work for it. I really just had to run good defense second half and prevented him from, getting a touchdown. And I squeaked the W.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, all in all, it's a super short list of events. I mean, there was a casualty, a touchdown, and then a foul, like, after it was pretty much all said and done.
Yeah, no, that, the thing is about Blood Bowl, when you look at the event list, it doesn't really tell you what happened during the match.
Sure.
Because while, like, this looks uneventful, I assure you I was sweating, like, every turn.
Was it just, like, pillow hands across the board without, like, no casualties either way, or was it
yeah, it was
like
pillow hands across the board,
a lot of knockouts and stuff?
So lots of knockouts, lots of pillow hands. Like, we were getting POWs left and right, but almost no armor breaks.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah, that was me.
Congrats on your win.
Thank you.
Big win too.
I will say that does make it the team that comes in Boomer's last ranked power ranking is 3-0. Just a little fun stat. We'll get to talk about that a little later. But the number 14 spot is undefeated.
You'll love to see it.
Yep. All right. And Cody, you had a exciting game.
Yes, it was a very, very.
Oh dear.
It was a very, very, very dwarfy game, I will say. The Dark Elf coach absolutely did everything like right on their end. Exceptional dodging, weaving in and out of bad positions. Like I was actively trying to get any and all of his players like on the edge of the pitch were immediately away. There was no way in how I was ever going to be able to push any of those players off the pitch, even with the numbers advantage. They were just too slippery and just willing to just even take a -1 or -2 dodge through and they're like, I'm not going to be here, which was fantastic. I love to see it. And yeah, it's just snowball effect starting at first turn and just kind of just rolled into it. And then by about turn 12 or 13, that's when we were like, let's settle this. Let's just take a chill on this, and we're just gonna go for the touchdown at the end, and we no longer need to continue this. It's just it's like, and he was harassing even like steadily losing more and more players. The coach was continuously able to successfully harass the ball carrier. Extremely irritating for me, but I'm like, I will admire that nonstop. The coach never gave up at any point.
Mm-hmm.
You'll love to see it.
Yeah.
Josh is a good coach. And also, I remember very vividly during our match, I turned around. I was like, how's your match going? And I just looked, and it's like 5 Dark Elves just piled up on the injury box. I'm like, never mind. Just turn back around.
I mean, that was this. I mean, if you look by turn 7.
Yeah, like it was just
almost half the team's gone, and that's
just the first half.
That's hard. That's hard to come to grips with. So yeah, I mean, it's been a bad beat for the Dragons. They've had a tough schedule, and this is, I believe, their second goose egg, the 0 casualties, 0 score outing, which is just sucks because development is huge in league settings, and it's just not a lot of it to go around, unfortunately. But I think some better matches in the future for the Dragons. We'll get to we've got an extra segment this time, so we'll talk about some future matches. So
I think what the coach is obviously a solid coach. I think with a chance to get some good development, this Dark Elf team could be a really good team
Yeah.
and will be a definite playoff contender if they start getting some SPP and get there. I can totally see them in the
Mhm.
playoffs.
Absolutely.
Yep. Just need some more development. I mean,
Mhm,
Dark Elf needs tools. Once
Yep.
they get the tools, they get to work. So,
Absolutely.
all right. Well, I'm tired of looking at this atrocious 8 casualty game. Oh, dwarves. All right, and then our highest scoring affair, a 4 touchdown night split between the two. Yeah, I mean, this was I didn't catch much of this game as it was happening. Anyone have any insights on this one? 'Cause I know
The curse of
Mighty.
yeah. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying the Mighty Rats coach is not with us tonight, so we don't have
Yeah.
the inside scoop.
I
Now, when
know.
we say no longer with us, he is alive.
Oh
He
yeah,
is alive.
absolutely.
He is not.
Absolutely.
We have
Make
not in memoriam. Just
Yeah, just wait till the obituaries.
player,
Yep.
coach. Just an actual picture of a person.
Just can't wait till the obituaries start to include people's seasons.
Just
We're out of playoff contention. All right.
It's like, this match clearly was honestly a very good match. I mean,
Oh,
we
yeah.
have a literal mirror in score and Kaz. So
Mhm.
literally both coaches were fighting turn to turn, trying to get the upper hand on the other. And it was clearly like honestly just a great match.
Yep.
The
there's no
Flint
other way.
Reaver bloodline appears cursed.
Yeah.
No. I was trying to get to that. The number 7 is cursed.
Yeah, it's always the number 7
Oh.
rat.
Number 7 player, always cursed.
The number 7 gutter runner has died, I think, every season he's played him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So just, yeah.
Yeah.
It's bad.
So, and then some friendly fire too with Craven Slayer taking down one of the line rats on the animal savagery fail.
Oof.
You hate to see it.
Yep. Yeah, I know that. I believe this was one of the matches in contention for the stream. I wish we would have been able to see this one. We just need cameras on every table, and then we're good to go.
Give us
We're doing
a-
league views and
it'll pan like friggin' Red Zone, just between all 7 matches.
Pick a channel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just click the channel.
There you
You'll be able
go.
to be able to scan through all
Yep.
different Twitch streams.
7
of all the
matches at the
games.
same time.
Yep.
You have the A stream and the B stream, and it's like ESPN and ESPN2, and it's
Yeah.
like you pick it's like college football day. You know,
Someday-
you get to pick your match.
I
Someday.
call it ESPN 8, the
Someday.
Hojo.
Yeah.
Yep. Maybe someday. All right, and then the Vermin Skulkers name on Snooze New was a no contest due to some scheduling errors. So not going to dwell on this one too much. Just to update you, it was a tie, 0-0-0-0 across the board. All right, Lizards with Attitude take a 2-0 win over the Gloomstalkers. Pretty one-sided affair. I believe that's also the second 0-0 for the Gloomstalkers crew.
I think it's in a row too.
Yeah, so Dark Elves are struggling to put up some SPP in this league.
You hate to see it.
I will
Yeah.
defend them. I'll give them a caveat. Both of the Dark Elf teams that got shut out this week played the number 1 seeds. From
Yeah,
both
I mean
divisions.
they're tough matchups. Like it's just
Oh,
it's
it
just-
was uphill both ways
Mhm.
in the snow.
Yep.
in the snow. No, but this does fulfill my prediction that I think that LWA, they're going to go undefeated, take the
Okay.
whole thing.
Okay.
My prediction stays true
Yep. So far,
so far.
it's only ever happened once.
It can happen again, I believe.
There's always that chance. But yeah, it looks like although there was no SPP in terms of scores or casualties, Gloomstalker Dragonaires they show that they are a competent passing team. Jolth Mammoth is a passing threat, and he spread it around a little bit. Just didn't end up in the end zone, unfortunately, this week. But I'm looking forward to seeing how they cobble it together next week, because I think the Dragonaires do have some good players, and they're gonna get it together. Just it's tough against those Lizards, man. All right, and our marquee matchup. Again, if you haven't seen the stream, this one is on YouTube. It's a great match.
All right, either Brandon Tell me about it.
I'll let you take the honors.
Okay. Yeah, I called it though. I said it's gonna be a 2-1 either way.
Yep.
It did come down to the wire. Not to spoil the stream. I'll let you again go watch it, but very well could have been a tie at the very end, despite all that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I rewatched the stream. I was like looking to see like what could I have changed differently. I messaged you afterwards too, like because the block dice were hot for both of us. There wasn't a lot of
They
armor
were.
breaks. I mean, obviously armor 10 and then 3 big guys.
Yeah.
But I mean, positioning was awesome. There was a lot of like chess piece like play around the board. Um, the one thing I kept going back to was on turn 7, and this is something I wanted to talk about before, and I think this might be a good time to talk about it too. You talk about this when you're cooking a brisket too. The stall, when to pull, when to stop stalling. So I had turn 7, and I think if I would have done it again, I still would have done that. But by turn 7 on the first half, I had a bit of a screen, but I was already starting to get outnumbered player wise, and I know you had Eldril Sidewinder with the Hypno Gaze.
Yep.
And the threat of even with Chuck Geiger being like ultimate ball security between sure hands and safe pair hands, where I could generally pick where the ball is going to go in most instances.
Mm-hmm.
The threat of a Hypno Gaze into a blitz just to pop it out anywhere was enough of a threat for me to consider. I'm just going to go ahead and score. I know last week when we talked about my match against the Skulkers, I scored on turn 7 or turn 15, and that almost came back to haunt me too because they had gutter runners. And in this case, I scored on turn 7 of the first half, and you had Eldril and a catcher with sprint, speed 6, and you ended up tying it up at the half. And that was, I mean, it was good. It was very good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think timing is always key on these sorts of things because when you're on offense, if you score too soon, your opponent can potentially score twice. I just expected a 5-speed team to not score so damn fast. But you're one of the winningest coaches of all time. I should have considered that, but
in our league, just in our league.
Yeah. Don't toot your own horn.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that first half was nuts. A lot of shifting around. I was very proud of how I handled going down the field because there was a point where I considered scoring sooner,
Mm-hmm.
but then we talked about it after that, and it's like, well, you had on the ball. If I try to pass, you could have just picked it.
Mm-hmm.
So like a lot of mind games. I know in the second half there was a point where you were moving up the sideline, and I just put the clamp down. I got a key ogre blitz, just locked everyone up, and you had to get just the right number of blocks to open up the puzzle
Mm-hmm.
to pop it back out. It was a great game.
Mm-hmm.
And even the last drive that I had to come back and try and tie it up, I'm still mad, but like watching it, it's like that's Blood Bowl. Like that is Blood Bowl, bar none. So hell of a game.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see you. Hopefully in the playoffs. We'll see. But
yeah.
I look forward to Brandon Bowl 7.
Yeah, no, me too. It was a really good match. Yeah, I mean, like, so what the stat line doesn't show is, yeah, like you started on offense and you drove down and kind of gave me the dope rope, the little rope of dope, and just sent me side to side, side to side.
Yeah.
With CLs, I just can't count. I can't react that quickly to that. So you got into a good position where you could stall. And yeah, I just had to threaten it with Eldril, had to threaten it with as many pieces as I could. And then, yeah, like I agree with you, like putting it in on 7, like I probably would have done the same because like you were on the sideline, you did have safe pair of hands, but like there was Hypno Gaze, there was all kinds of threats there that there was a possible risk that I do pop it out and then pick it up and then you can't take it off of me. And then we just go, down tied, to start the second half. But yeah, you put it in 7. I had 2, and then I took Eldril and then one of my catchers and wung them out both ways just to give me 2 problems for you to solve. Yeah, I mean, you did cover both. It's not like they were uncovered, but I was able to take the less risky option, and then get a bunch of 2+s to put that score in. But
That
yeah,
actually, I'm sorry to interrupt. There was a
no,
point in the second half. I forgot to mention this, and you'll probably get to this, so I'm sorry. But
there you go.
you're watching the stream. You did have to dodge out on a 2+ to like get the leading score. Or no, that wasn't. Oh no, that was in the first half. No, that's right. You had to do a 2+. You had to do several 2+s, but you did fail the original dodge, and you had to use a reroll. You failed that reroll, you would have dropped the ball
Then it doesn't happen.
in
Yeah.
16, and then this would have possibly been a tie
Yep.
or flip the other way.
Or a loss. Yeah.
Or lost.
Yeah, no, because like the scoring turn, I had to dodge out, and then I had to 2+ pass into a 3+ catch because you had the catcher marked. Had the pass skill, had the catch skill. I think one of those may have failed, but the reroll was fine. And then and then I had to dodge out there, and then the catchers on the sea elf the sea elf catchers, sorry, they have sprint. Yeah, sprint, not sure feet. They have sprint, so I was able to go for it 3 times to get the score. So I mean, like, it was 2+ into 3+, 2+, 3+ into 2+, 2+, 2+, 2+, and it just
Like,
in any section that could have went bad.
The making you roll as many dice as possible, in my opinion, is like the best way to do something on defense, because at any point one of those dice fails, it goes down. Granted, 2+ is a very good roll, but I mean, we've seen it all the time in the league where it's like, oh, I got a sure hands 2+ fail.
Yeah.
Like, I just gotta hope that the dice work in my favor. And
the 2+ is the sneakiest failure state you'll have.
Yep.
But yeah, no, and then that second half, like, I received, and then was trying to figure out a way to get it past you, and I'm not very fast, so it was a bit tricky. But yeah, you clamped me on the sideline, and having that ogre on the back side of my cage was brutal. But I had a blitzer on the other end, and I was able to push the ogre out of the way. I think I ended up pounding him out of the way, swung my thrower back over, made the throw, made the catch, and then got him just far enough away to where I think you could tag him but not hit him. And then yeah, I mean, you forced me to put it in a little early, so that gave you 3 turns.
Those 3.
Yeah, 3 turns, but I was hoping I could play enough defense and do enough elf shenanigans, build my columns, all that standard shit. And then it came down to just an insane sequence of events at the end there. You had gotten your Dark Elf and your Skaven in scoring range, basically.
Yep.
And one of them had the ball. It was the Dark Elf that had the ball. Okay. I blitz in with Eldril Sidewinder, actually pow the Dark Elf down, so he no longer becomes a scoring threat. Cool. Ball bounces away from your Skaven. I pick it up with Eldril, and then I run away to what I thought was safety. What I didn't realize is it was towards the tackle piece. Yep. It was towards the block tackle ogre, or orc, sorry.
Yeah.
But my thought process was get it as far away from your end zone to make it as hard as possible for you to bring it back to your end zone. But yeah, you blitzed it off of Eldril on the final turn, knocked it out, dodged your Skaven, 4+, 3+, 2+, 2+, to run him into the end zone.
Yeah, they have 2 heads. And I managed to succeed on the 4+ and the 3+, but the dodging into the open, I rolled a 1, so I had to reroll.
So you had to reroll that
reroll.
Yep.
My last reroll.
Yep.
But I got it the second time. Went into the end zone.
Yep. And then your thrower, the Chaos Renegade's thrower, picked it up, no problem, ran it, went to go throw it, had to roll that animosity check, and then the 1 came in. 1 on animosity. It was. I felt terrible because of all the rolls. You were getting it. Like, all you needed to do at that point was a 5+, and then a 3+, catch, which we rolled them on. We rolled them on stream after they technically would have succeeded if we went off that logic. But it was an eventful end that just doesn't show up here. But
nope.
Yeah, no, I agree with the sentiment. I'm happy I can't wait for the rematch because Brandon Bowl's always fun. All right. Well, enough of the matches. Let's talk about our top 10s. So, these are our SPP leaders. Timothy leading the league with 16 SPP. Right behind him, surprisingly, Oren Sapp after a 1 touchdown, 1 catch showing. He's climbed up the ladder. Taguchi Main at 14. El Cuchillo shared for bronze. That's a snotling, everyone.
Yeah.
Then behind him, finally off the podium, the crowd.
That's upsetting.
Yeah, they've got 6 casualties, but they're finally being outshone by our true players here. Chuck Geiger, even though he had that animosity fail at the end, he probably would have been up here. But without that successful pass, he's still in the running though with 11. Madeline Daredevil Murdoch for the Butchers Bay Dragons at 10, and then a pair of Kaza Doom Dark Iron fellows, Sevius Lysar and Yoron Sidrarius at 10, and then Hopper at 10. And that actually does cut cleanly at 10 this time. We don't have any stragglers hanging on tied in the 11 spot moving forward. As far as our scorers, Timothy, like you said, he's the highest on our SPP, and this is part of the reason why he's got the gold for touchdowns. Right behind him, tied for second, Chuck Geiger, Ubald and Thera from the Dark Iron, and then Tukrak from the Lizards with Attitude. And then another pair of Lizards with Attitude just behind them. The Lizards have been scoring. And El Cuchillo, 2 touchdowns. Murdoch, 2 touchdowns. Sidrarius, 2 touchdowns. And Titsa from Uptown Shows Growing, 2 touchdowns. So Timothy's the more prominent scorer, but Titsa's right there. Again, no changes in interceptions. We've not had another one yet. So I don't know if this ever changes, but it'll still be here. I'm waiting for that on the ball dwarf.
Mhm.
The boys here.
Yeah. And then in terms of passing and catching, the Black Forest Guardians are leading that stat still. Gnarled Barkley showing to be the best quarterback in the league with 7 successful passes. Timothy right on his heels with 4. Jolf Mammoth, like I mentioned earlier, from the Dragonaires, tied with Keenbender and Venom Fang from the 2 Skaven teams represented. And then not quite on the podium yet, but still hanging in the top 10, Chuck Geiger, Titsa, Coven Striker, and Rock Grip. With catches, 4 Stump proves to be Gnarled Barkley's #1 receiver. Titsa, Stink Dustbuster, and Stretch Sneak Claw are right behind. And then Timothy, even though he's up here making the throws, he's also making the catches. Those frogs can do anything. Coven Striker with a catch. Oren Sapp with a catch just this past week. That was the second half touchdown is what that led to. Cankertail, a lot of Underheim Mighty Rats all over this board because they are also a pretty prominent passing and catching team. Lulu Stormfang and Demethus Warius from the Dragonaires also on the list. We also have some guys that are hangers on. I forgot to mention, in terms of touchdowns, there's another player with 2 that is at the number 11 spot. It's Casey Bug, but he has died, so I left him off the list. Rest in peace from last week. And then for the other 1 catch players, Dorg Shadowwood from the Gloomstalker Dragonaires has 1 catch. Grundy Grudiger from the Gloomstalker Dragonaires also has 1 catch. Hicks and Dorpheus also have 1 catch, although Dorpheus, we're getting news that he has been fired from the Los Alamos Aliens. So best of luck in his future endeavors. Kermit and Dart from the Uptown Chosen Grung have 1 catch, and then Longshank Stilltail from the Vermin Skulkers also have a catch. So guys that are technically in the bronze, but not listed here, just for sake of there's no more room on my sheet. All right, fun stuff. Let's get into the most murderous crowd. They're always there.
Always there, always bloodthirsty.
And surprisingly, right behind him is a rat. So the highest casualty is the Rat Ogre for the Unhigh Mighty Rats, Streketh Cravenslayer. In the bronze spot, a pair of Dark Iron, Owen, and Izamata. And then the Luchadors, one of their trolls, La Caminante de la Sombra, with 3 casualties. And then Ubtal's Bogart with 3. Round out the list, Sevius Lysar with 2, NASCAR Jawblitzer with 2, Nori with 2, and Bradford Pear with 2. Even though he's experienced, he's been in less games than I think most others on this list because of missed next games. He will also be missing this upcoming game, I believe.
Keep the trend going.
Yep. He comes back, he gets in this next game, and then he hops out and off the court. So, we'll see. On the kills leader, no one has taken the lead. Nobody wants to get to that promised land of the 2 kill zone. But we've got a bunch of people that are leading with 1. Bogart, Sonia the Dancer, Terrace the Invoker, Cranton Ploker, Carly and Camrose, Leon, and Mr. Coach Klein all have 1 kill. So congratulations to those teams. The New England Matriarchs are the lead as far as team kills because Sonia and Terrace both each have 1. And then for the fouls, don't do that. We're starting to see some separation in the fouls department. And there's a team that sticks out in my head. Farmer Fran, Vicky Valancourt, both at 2. Aliplex still holding on with the gold spot with those 2 from week 1. And then Coach Klein with 1, Taguchi Main with 1, El Cuchillo with 1, Stockman with 1, Journey Door from the Dark Iron. No one bothered to catch his name. But he's got 1, and then Rackham from the Skulkers has 1. All right. So, anybody have anything to say about the stats? I didn't want to cut you guys off. I know I was rambling. I was going. But I know stats are kind of just stats, so
yeah, just interesting to see more and more things are leveling. Just a lot more fouls, a lot more,
way more fouls.
The number go up.
The number go up,
and we get happy about number go up,
and our neuron activates.
Number go up.
Craven Slayer's on a tear this season. We've only played 3 games, and he's got 4 casualties. He's in the running for Mr. Murder if he can get a kill on him. That's easy.
Yep.
So looking forward to watching him play.
Yep. I have to see him this week, so we'll see. We'll see what he does when he starts punching trees. All right. Now cue the music. It's time to honor our fallen Northern Kingdoms Blood Bowl League players. So we start with Rafferty, the Chaos Blocker from the Manhattan Mutant Mayhem. Yep. And also Stunk Flint Reaver, the Gutter Runner from the Underhigh Mighty Rats. Once you put on the number 7, it's a fate you step into.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, we wish them and their families that they leave behind.
In other Olympic news, Rafferty's son Ralphie is training.
And we look forward for the revenge plot that is brewing there. All right. Anyway, enough of the down stuff. We have a new segment. So we were talking. We wanted to talk about some of the other stuff that goes on in and around the league that doesn't necessarily come up in Wartscenter. So we've created the reserve box. So we have a news publication that happens semi-regularly. It's not as frequent as Wartscenter here, but it's chock full of really cool stories and extra stuff that's put together by Brandon himself. So I'm gonna let you take the field. We've got a few segments that I wanted to highlight from the NKBBL news that just launched last week. Mostly just this off the pitch drama news segment, and then we'll actually get to talk about some of the future matches in the season and ogle over those for a minute.
Absolutely. So yeah, NKBBL News. It's a local little newsletter I do for the league. I started doing it right during the start of the Season 3 playoffs. We are now on issue 5, which is 33% of the league season is now complete. There's so many memes and stuff we've had locally within the league that we just wanted to joke about. So Ivan and I were cooking up some joke headlines. We call it Off the Pitch. The stories the league does not want you to hear.
These aren't jokes.
Obviously,
these are serious stories that are happening within the kingdom.
Take this completely seriously, as we are, clearly.
Breaking news.
Yes. Breaking news.
I'm
I will
sorry, is skink trafficking funny to you, Brando?
absolutely. Yeah.
That is it's a victimless crime.
What's wrong with it? Okay, but anyways.
What were the skinks wearing?
We're demonetized.
Okay.
It's all right. There was enough of a pause for me to cut that out. No.
It's been a day. But I got way off topic on that. So
Oh, you're good.
really quickly, I actually think this would be really funny for some of us in here to read some of these headlines really quick. But I'll start with the LWA, the Lizards with Attitude. Their whole team is based off of rappers. So with everything going on with P. Diddy in real life and the Croc score being named G. Pitty, we had to do a story on that. We just had to. So the first story of the day was G. Pitty apprehended at Texas Bama home. So the NKBBL, our lore, it's like a ravaged USA, and Texas and Alabama are Texas Bama. Some of our most Murica teams are from there, like the Minutemen. It's fun, but yeah, G. Pitty apprehended at Texas Bama home. Liz's star Croc score G. Pitty was apprehended by authorities between matches 2 and 3 of the season. A warrant was made for his arrest for allegations involving skink trafficking. He is currently out on bond. Liz's have declined to comment at this time.
Hey, innocent until proven guilty. All right.
Innocent until proven guilty. We don't talk about those parties though.
His counsel has said the same. It's not looking good for G. Pitty. I'm just saying.
I would like the other two stories if we could. I'd like Ivan to obviously read the Wartscenter one, and then Cody, since you talked about the moles, you can read the moles one after, if that's
More than
okay.
happy. Absolutely, more than
All
happy.
right, let it rip, Ivan. Please do the voice.
Wartscenter analyst in court. Possible father of 3,000 illegitimate tadpoles. Wartscenter analyst and Naboo Bombad star Aggie Winkins was in court recently. A lawsuit was filed claiming he is the father of thousands of tadpoles and should pay child support. When asked by the NKBBL news team if the allegations were true, he just stated, "Misa not the father. She just wants my moolah."
Yep.
Yep. There we go. Thank you, bud.
That's going to make the next segment of the power rankings very awkward, knowing what's going on with Aggie and
Hey.
True. It's going to be a real hiccup that the league will have to get through.
Yep.
Just like this, where the league is adamantly denying that the moles were, in fact, paid actors. We're not, but maybe were, in fact, not paid actors. During that week 1 match of the Snooze Snooze versus the Mudclaws, moles invaded the pitch. Some fans were concerned that these were paid actors meant to rig the match. When we asked for comment, the commissioner, Rarsnack Mr. Diffmucklerumble, said, "That's stupid." And I, for one, happen to agree. We absolutely did not pay these maybe or maybe not actors.
Mm-hmm.
And
Never
I
defeat
did not
allegations.
allegedly get a discount by hiring them in mass.
Who's to say? But yes, of course, with the league, there's any number of controversy and criticism thrown our way. And there's some tabloids who like to blow it up for the views. But
If anyone actually... sorry. Good.
Any further questions involving any tabloid gobbledygook that is mere hearsay, as far as I'm concerned, please refer to our local league attorney, Chadwick, please and thank you.
You know,
Uh,
in celebration of Chadwell he just passed the bar. We're now gonna
Congratulations.
Good stuff.
we're now gonna pass everything off to him.
Yep.
If
Be-
anyone
be
watching
ready.
is actually interested in reading the NKBBL news, which is chock full of jokes and stuff from our league, I am working on an almanac. Once we have enough issues, I'll remove a bunch of details for us that won't dox us a bit. But if people are interested, I can share that. And yes, it does have AI art. We
We're
like
not
actual
artists
art.
in this league.
Well, I am,
The
but I'm
amount of-
not fast enough to keep up.
Yeah, we
with
churn
these
out
motherfuckers.
garbage. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I'll do the logos and I take care of the stuff on that you see on the YouTube, but past that I don't think I can keep up with this amount of production. All right. Anyway, now on to some real news. Brando, take it away. Did a little
All right.
sequence of the rest
Absolutely.
of the matches.
Yeah, so I actually was hoping for this part. So I'll go over this really briefly. We have basically finished a third of the season. We've talked about that. Third of the regular season. We still have playoffs after that and what have you. We've been doing a lot of streamed matches. We've done 3 so far. We've already voted for our next one, which we'll get into later. We mentioned it a bit earlier here. What are teams to look out for? What are matches to look out for that we think are worth streaming or we think are going to be impactful for the league as a whole? So I actually went through for the remaining 5 weeks and I've highlighted divisionals, I've highlighted friendlies, and I've literally highlighted matches that I think personally. So Ivan knows the true editor of the NKBBL and lore, but for the posting, these are just my personal opinions. So, everyone's opinion is, that sort of thing. I'm curious what you guys think are upcoming matches on this list here that are ones to look out for, essentially.
I'm very big into the Mayhem versus the Chosen Grum, and I'm not biased about that at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, that is the week 4, one of the week 4 matches on the side here. Yeah.
Yep.
That's gonna be a great match. Absolutely.
Coincidentally, that's the one that's going to be streamed. So all of you at home will get to
You
witness it.
spoiled it. That's okay.
Yeah, it's
Edit
fine.
that out. Edit that out.
No. I don't have
spoiler alert at the very.
I don't have time for that. It's staying in.
But if we want, just go through weeks 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So just looking at it, week 5, what do you guys think of those matches look interesting to you?
Which week?
I think for me,
Blizzard.
sorry, I'm gonna cut in. Let's see, where is it? I just gotta find out the week. There's a lot of information here. Oh, it's week 7. Week 7. The Dark Iron versus the Mud Claws. Both of our most murderous, I think, in the league. Just tackle each other after a few more weeks of development. Like I'm looking forward to that one, and I know the Mud Claws coach is equally looking forward to taking down the dwarves or attempting to take down the dwarves.
I am looking forward to it as well.
Yep. There's also the Mighty Rats and Aliens. I know it's not even one of your highlighted ones, but I feel like those matches are always pretty good between you and Underheim.
I'm actually very interested in week 6, the Lizzes versus the Aliens. I feel like that'll be a great match.
Yeah. That'll be a good
I'm
one
looking
too.
forward to that one. Week 9, actually, the Luchadors LWA to me just sounds funny because it's like
that one will be wild. Yeah,
wild
lizards and big men.
Yeah, that would be great too.
The Luchadors will be a team that the LWA can't bully around, so I think that alone will be worth the, price of admission because we're going to have to see the coach for the Lizzes really, try something different.
Mm-hmm.
Not that what he's doing has been bad or anything, but it'll be a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I mean,
that ball game being Blood Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, while we're talking about the Lizzes, like you said, they're planning on going undefeated. So
Okay, so let me be very clear. They haven't said that. They have denied that. I am saying
you're
that.
saying that. You're saying that.
I am saying that.
Well, I'm looking at the matchups. What's their biggest challenge? I think
So,
I
good
think for
question.
me it may, even though they're not performing quite the level that they have in the past, the week 7 match, Mighty Rats versus LWA. The last time those two teams, and they were the same two teams, Lizard's Attitude and the Anaheim Mighty Rats. It was a 4-0 in favor of the Mighty Rats. Skrunked on him and outscored him mightily. So I know Skrunk Flint Reaver is retired. He's enjoying his he's past his playing days and he's enjoying his retirement. But I don't know. I think by week 7, the Mighty Rats might have found the replacement, and we might see a repeat of that.
I agree with you that is the Liz's coach biggest. That's his biggest challenge moving forward.
I think the aliens are going to give them a good run for their money too.
Yeah,
We
not
know that.
that-
Yeah, like
I think it'll be a run for their money. I do think the Rats will be harder. However, that's where my head's at.
In my opinion,
Depends on
you keep
definition of
saying they're going to go undefeated. I think weeks 5 through 7 will be the real test.
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't realize Mudclaw's LWA. I didn't
Yeah.
realize
Yeah.
we had the
Lizard.
lizard off.
Good matches coming up, man.
I just
Like,
now
there's a
saw
lot of
that.
good stuff.
Yeah,
Oh God, let's make a poster and it'll say who will tip the scales.
That one I'm
I think the
excited
Lizard's
for.
gonna win.
Yeah, okay, I take
The
it all
Lizard
back.
men team.
Mudclaw's LWA. Holy shit! I didn't realize that matchup was happening. I
do
thought they
know
were
that
missing each other this year.
No, and I do know the victor will be playing Lizards.
That is correct.
Yep.
I can
What if
say
it's a,
that
what
and
if
then
it's
they
a
both
draw?
tie
Yeah.
0-0.
If they tie 0-0, I'll buy a hat specifically to eat.
Now, real quick. All right, so we're talking about the potentially undefeated team in the Lizzes. Let's talk about the one that might actually go undefeated. That's in this call right now. The Dark Iron, #1 seed in the Blood Division. How does the rest of their season look right now, based on how they're performing?
I think
don't know.
biggest challenge for Dark Iron. Rest of season. I mean, Aliens.
The season.
Aliens have a possibility to be a tough matchup. Mudclaws could be tough considering. And then the Grung could be sneaky. Could be sneaky challenging just from their ability, just their offensive ability.
I
But
actually,
what's
in
the
my
easy
opinion,
matches? Yeah.
it would be the Grum, in my opinion, just
Yep.
because they are able to pogo, and I think that would be detrimental to a dwarf strategy.
Sure.
They're very unorthodox.
Mhm.
It's like their play style.
Oh yeah,
You know,
I played Slon 2 seasons ago, and I think just knowing how that team works and how they would work against dwarves, I think that will be the thing that really tests the Dark Iron.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. I don't have an easy walk to the championship.
Oh, no, you do.
no. But I'm
don't
saying
think
like
anyone
you're looking pretty
does.
damn scary right now,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yep.
let's actually look at the schedule because there's some good games coming up.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
It's
No,
just-
I'm not living on easy street quite yet. I still have quite a slog to get through.
Yep. But yeah, you and the Liz's coach being the 2 undefeated left. So it's interesting to see your guys' path. So, all right. Anything else in the reserve box before we move on to standings?
Nah, I think
Yep.
I'm good.
Looking
All right.
forward to all the matches.
Leave
Cool.
your comment in the leave your comment about what match you're looking forward to.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. Drop it. Drop any thoughts, comments, secrets in the chat, and we'll get to 'em. All right.
Tell us
So
the secrets, but we'll promise to keep them.
yeah. All right. So yeah, like we said, Khazad-dûn Dark Iron are and the Liz with Attitude in their respective divisions are the only undefeated teams, leading the pack with 6 divisional points each. So for the Blood Division, the New England Matriarchs are right behind them, with their tiebreaker match happening this week, which we'll get into. The Mudclaws behind them with 3 points, and then the Manhattan Mutant Mayhem just behind them with 3 points as well. So a lot of these teams, all these teams at 3 points, have not yet played each other, which is our first which is our first tiebreaker. So we don't really know where everything's going to lay out here until these teams actually do get a chance to play against each other. But on the bowl division, it's a little more clear cut. 6 points with the Liz with Attitude. The Los Alamos Aliens holding on to that second place spot despite the loss last week with 4 points. The Gloomstalker Dragonaires and the Black Forest Guardians both sitting at 3. The Dragonaires ahead in terms of the touchdown casualty differential, which is the next tiebreaker when you go past head to head. So those two coaches haven't played each other yet, but I believe that happens towards the end of the season. So still everything's really tight. But we've got a long ways to go, but things are starting to shape up here. All right, the moment you guys have all been waiting for. We have power rankings, and there has been a lot of changes. I will say we have removed all previous seasons from the calculation. So now this is this team, this calculation. This is what the analysts now predict in terms of power rankings. Also, Lucifer, the previous Helheim Rams player, has decided that she's changing her criteria. She doesn't care about who wins the game. She thinks the power rank should be based on who murders the most. So her power ranking has changed to represent that. So
it's returning to her roots.
Yes. She realized she's like, what am I doing here? These are all wrong. But so a lot of movement. The Dark Iron, unanimous number 1. The Mud Claws coming up to Boomer's number 2, which I find really exciting. That's a brand new coach, and he's playing out of his mind. The Grung right behind. The Lizards with Attitude finally getting the respect that they've deserved after a 3-0 start, sitting in the 4 spot, and depending on who you ask, 2 or 5. The Matriarchs still hanging in there despite the loss to the Mayhem. Recently, the Aliens getting some respect on their name, even though they took a loss last week, getting up into that top 8 spot. The Mayhem also coming from last to mid. I would say worst to first, but we're not quite there yet.
From last to mid, we'll still take it.
Yeah. And then the Luchadors, the Snoo, the Skulkers, and then at the back end, the Dragons, the Guardians, the Mighty Rats, and the Dragonaires. So the Guardians, Rats, and Dragons all have fallen quite precipitously when you remove previous seasons, it seems. So anything on the power ranks that stand out to you before we go into the changes each team has made over the last week?
I'd switch the Lizard teams, but otherwise,
yeah.
Like Mudclaws are great. I agree.
Yeah.
I think LWO is just better at this point. Besides the record, just they're more developed.
Yeah.
So that's a big call out.
Yep. Aggie agrees with you.
Aggie agrees.
Yeah.
That all being said, our joke of saying, can someone point out the 14th power ranking? And then I point at Jesse, the coach of the Lizzes, who is undefeated at the moment, has now sadly come to an end.
Yep.
But
well,
I'm glad to see this data represented.
Yep. Well, hang on. Like I said, my stat from earlier, right? The beginning of the season, the Lizards with Attitude are ranked 14th by Boomer's prediction, which I used as the prime one because here's the secret: it's the average of the other two.
No.
Don't
look behind the curtain.
Don't tell them our secret.
I just got to make sure no one thinks that I'm just making these up to hurt people's feelings. Okay, all right.
Wait, you're not?
Anyway.
What show is this?
I'm sorry. I take it all back. Anyway, so Liz with Attitude open at the 14 spot. They then go on to win their game. Week 2 was not enough to sway their history, so they remained at the 14 spot. They win again. This past week, the Manhattan Mutant Mayhem slip into the 14 spot. They win in week 3. So that 14 spot is a little spot of good luck. So I will say to the Gloomstalker Dragonaires, you have the opportunity to do the craziest thing right now.
Yeah.
Your spot in the power ranking is technically undefeated, even though we keep ranking it last. You pull off the win, you keep the streak alive. So don't get discouraged by the number, because the number doesn't mean anything. is what I would say. But all right. So speaking of those Dragonaires, let's go through the team updates. There's a lot of improvements happening in the Dragonaires camp. So they've added Safe Pass to one of the runners. They hired the second runner, Degalas. So welcome, Degalas, to the NKBBL. Good luck with your contract and your future play with the Dragonaires. And then a pair of linemen, Cranton Ploker and Ref Norfinkel, both get blocks. So good improvements. That should help them stay consistent moving forward. The Underheim Mighty Rats take a precipitous fall from 1 to 13 when you remove all the previous history. They've had a rough start. They're still looking for that elusive first win, but they've enlisted the Flint Reavers replacement, Corpit Crowquest, as a gutter runner, and then Stank Dustbuster, a very well experienced lineman, gains claw. So he's got his first little mutation. He's gonna try to sharpen those claws on some wood elves this week. The Black Forest Guardians also fall despite oh, I forgot to do the thing. Despite getting what is this? What is this on my back? Oh, is that a monkey? Get off my back! Despite getting the monkey off my back this week and getting that first win, we dropped because the coach has a high win rate previously. You remove that and all you see is the 1 and 2, the ratings drop. So that's fine. We'll take that into the locker room. We'll show it to the players. They're going to get fired up. They're going to be ready to take down Underheim. But along with that, Oren Sapp has picked up tackle. Nala Barkley has randomed into dump off. And like I mentioned earlier, Bradford Pear, for the second time this season, has missed next game. He just can't seem to stay healthy. So we'll see how his future with the team evolves. But still keeping the TVs pretty low. We'll have some cash. We'll get into the matchups later and talk about that. The Butchers Bay Dragons, despite having a couple of rough outings, are starting to get moving. They've added a blitzer, which the NKBBL has not yet released the notes on who that is. I haven't updated the sheet.
They're protecting the identity of the family until they were able to get safe passage to the stadium.
It's in the master sheet. I know Laws has it. I must have forgot to update it, but they've hired a new blitzer, and we'll get to learn their name shortly. Nicholas Lang picks up tackle, and unfortunately, after that bout with the Dwarves, there are a Witch Elf and 2 linemen that are going to be on the sideline this week. So a few journeymen coming in to help fill out the roster. So tough break. They were on the up, and they have dropped 4 in the power rankings. But all right, the Vermin Skulkers coming off a tie. Like we said, it was a no contest, so no updates here to report so far. But we'll keep you posted. Despite that, their rank does go up 1. Same with the Snoo. Added the draw. No updates at this time, but their ranking goes up by 4. The Luchadors sitting at that number 8 spot. They gain an extra reroll, so some consistency coming from them. They've hired another Snotling, Siete. And then Una is missed next game, so they'll have to go without one of their mainstay Snotlings, but they've added the replacement going forward. The Mayhem, big addition here. We've got a Minotaur. So Leatherhead joins the roster.
Leatherhead's in the house.
He is in the house. So looking to expand on this 2-1 record. And he's up from 14 to 7. So straight cut down the middle. With Leatherhead, he's looking to make that even better of a rank. Zog also picks up Shadowing, which is not the greatest skill. I believe this was a random. Yeah.
It was, in fact, a random.
So random Shadowing feels bad, but hey, you never know. It might come in handy. And then Honeycut picks up Pro. So they're saying, hey, I'm a professional. Let's get it done. All right. The Los Alamos Aliens, despite the loss, have jumped up 6 spots to the number 6 rank. Like we mentioned earlier, Dorpheus has been fired. We wish him well in his future professional career. But Warpheus has been hired. So new Dark Elf on the block. Chuck Geiger, after that crazy last play streak of animosity, has grown a monstrous mouth. So his ability to hold onto the ball and do the thing that throwers need to do has gotten better. Quill Duskrunner has also gained diving tackle. So Wrestle 2 has diving tackle. That Skaven's going to start to become a problem. The New England Matriarchs stay at the number 5 rank. No changes as far as I'm aware. I may not be the most up to date, but yeah, no updates. They're still sitting at the 1170 TV and rolling into their next match. The Lizards with Attitude up 5 spots into the number 4 rank. They also are holding on to their SPP, it seems, and holding on to their cash. I mean, when you're 3-0, do you have to change anything? Who knows? But yeah, they're staying. They're still at 1260 with no new updates for that squad just yet. The Ubtau's Chosen Grung stay at the number 3 spot. Robert takes a miss next game, so we won't see him until week 5. But Azarath picks up Sure Hands, so one of these frogs is starting to become the point person for the ball shenanigans that these Slan are known to do. And in our new up 4 spots, the SCLSU Mud Claws, they miss out on Mama. Mama's missed next game. No Croxagore next week. That's tough. But they have picked up a Saurus, so they're adding some slightly smaller meat somewhere else to compensate. Captain Insano picks up block, so some of these sources are starting to come online. And they also add the Apothecary, so investing into keeping these players that they've started developing. And then at the now number 1 spot, up 1, previously number 2, and I believe number 2 all season so far. The Dark Iron make a lot of improvements. Izamata picks up Mighty Blow, Nori picks up Mighty Blow, and Therer picks up Block. So a lot more block, a lot more Mighty Blow. The team is becoming a death roller of its own. But instead it's just a bunch of little dwarves that Mighty Blow you until you forfeit. All right. So our last segment of the night, we're going to talk about the week 4 matches and go through some predictions. So here's the slate. The Lizards with Attitude will take on the Vermin Skulkers. The Black Forest Guardians will take on the Mighty Rats. The Amazonian Snoo Snoo will go to battle with the Los Alamos Aliens. The Butcher's Bay Dragons will take on the SCLSU Mudclaws. The Trololo Luchadors will meet up with the Dragonaires. The New England Matriarchs will take on the Dark Iron. And then in our marquee matchup, as Ivan has previously stated, the Ubtau Chosen Grung will host the Manhattan Mutant Mayhem. All right, so first match, Lizards with Attitude, 3-0, looking to protect that undefeated streak against the Vermin Skulkers. The line's set to .98, so nearly a touchdown. And the analysts are all saying Lizards all the way. What are your guys' thoughts?
I have to stand by my previous prediction. Liz's will go undefeated.
All right.
I don't know if I can't do math after 8 o'clock. Is that 330 petty cash?
9:30,
Yes, it is.
10:30, 11:30, 12. Yeah,
Okay.
330.
This will be a good one. I think
Yeah.
if Chadwell, I know Chadwell didn't get to play last week, but with that much inducement money, Skaven can score. This is going to be a high speed game. I think Liz's can still do some damage, and they can probably end up winning this anyways, but I wouldn't count the Skulkers out.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the Liz's are on a roll. I think they have a very good potential, just could keep that roll going, but I think Chadwell is very quickly picking up on the game and getting better and better, and with 330K of petty cash, that is a lot of fun money to spend. So he could do some wild stuff against his opponent.
Yep. Yeah, I believe this is the biggest inducement package that the Lizards will face. So we'll have to see if that's the tipping point. All right, the Butchers Bay Dragons host the SCLSU Mud Claws. Dark Elf versus Lizardmen. The Mud Claws are favored by 0.27 of a touchdown. Yet the analysts are pretty firm in Mud Claws' victory. What say you? There's only 25K in inducement.
Yeah.
I think going without a Crocs is really gonna harm the Mud Claws.
Yeah.
I
They do.
see they do. Yeah, he does have an extra Saurus, so I'll be very interested to see. I think it's when it comes down to it, my prediction is still Mud Claws, even
Mhm.
without the Crocs.
Yep.
I think, yeah, like the lack of the Crocs to Gore definitely is a hindrance and definitely going to reduce his overall raw power and ability to bully the overall weaker Dark Elf team. But the Dark Elf team just having an overall average spread of just like good edge, able to move around, just overall, just being an elf team, they can handle every piece is a ball scoring threat, even the linemen. And they're just now slowly developing more and more. They got more block, another tackle piece. This could be. I think the Lizards are gonna have. It's not gonna be as easy for the Lizards as they may think or anybody else thinks for them. I think it's gonna be a good match. I think I'm not seeing a tie. I'm seeing one of these two coaches winning, but I'm not seeing a blowout for sure.
Mhm.
I think I've said this for other matches in the past, but I think this is going to be a true litmus test for both teams for the rest of their season. Because you have the Mud Claws, they're up and coming. I think they're both, I have to go back and look, but I think they're both around the bottom end of the leaderboard for their divisional. So this is a tiebreaker match too. This is going to be pretty big. The Dragons have had a couple rough matches. They've already fought Lizardmen team and lost, so they have experience against Lizard teams. They've played Lizard teams in the past and played against them in the past, so they have the experience. This is still a newer coach, but they're doing really well. I think this will be a really good match. I wouldn't count out the Dragons just yet, but the six, even without a Croc score, 6 Saurus is a lot to overcome. But I think if anyone can find a way around it, it'd be the Dragons coach.
Yep. I would say you took the point I was gonna bring up. Yeah, like this Dragons coach, they played Lizardman team in season 2. They defeated a Lizardman team in season 1 to win the championship. I think they might have the inside. They've got the playbook for the Lizardmen, so I'm interested to see if they can take that knowledge and execute on it. But yeah, I mean, this will be a pretty good match. The strength advantage does lie with the Mud Claws, but you have a bunch of high edge players on the other end, and you've got some tackle, and you've got a Witch Elf, and you've got 3 blitzers. Like, you can make it happen. And then there's also an assassin. So I think he may show out. He hasn't done she hasn't done much. I don't think, in terms of, I've not seen any casualties come from her yet, but I think with the skinks present, that it might start to happen. So I don't know. Looking forward to this match. All right. The Black Forest Guardians take on the Underheim Mighty Rats. The line is set for the Rats, 0.3, and the prediction cast is split. Aggie says Mighty Rats. Lucifer and Boomer say it's going to be the Guardians. What say you?
This is a tough one because this is both coaches. They're both essentially going uphill. Not both of them desperately want and need the W.
Yeah.
And both are very experienced coaches. So this might end up being the most technical match we see this season. But when it's all said and done, I think I might hand it to a tie. Honestly, I could see it being a 1-1.
Okay.
You took my words.
Yeah, it's like it's
Hey.
two top tier coaches going at each other. Both are not only just wanting to get more securely deeper placement into their own divisional match and just more trying to lock in from their both had very rough starts to the season and they're both trying to fight for better placement and both are actively trying to get more and more development and trying to build their teams up before late season comes around. I think, yeah, it's I mean, if I was gonna see a tie, I expect to see a high score tie. I'm talking like a 2-2 or a 3-3. I'm expecting these coaches to do some all out crazy shit and it working. I'm expecting some long bomb passes to a 6 and double go for it on both ends and them both working and then just somehow they both are suffer, but then they both somehow suffer from that's a 2+ dodge with dodge reroll fail. That's a 1 and 1
Right.
from both ends. Yeah, just and then that's gonna happen. So it's I if I'm going to, I think I would personally have to go with if I had to pick a coach though that might if I had to pick a winner, I would probably go the Guardians just because that's a good chunk of inducement cash, and we all know inducements can fluctuate. Even just a little bit of inducement can fluctuate a game significantly.
Yep, because I'm walking into 240, so 240 to spend.
That's a whole lot of randomness.
It was the 260 from my match last week. It was crucial. Eldril was a huge boon to that team, and it was really part of the reason I won.
Much speed.
Yeah. So managing the petty cash will be crucial, but yeah, no, this is going to be a good one.
I have a specific prediction, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure, go for it. Hey,
I think this will be legitimately a 2-2 tie.
Yeah.
Not only because it's funny, but because unlike our match, I expect a Skaven thrower to complete a pass to tie the game.
Fair. Okay, so you heard it here first.
Got the history of the passes. So
Yep.
Both you two are. Yeah. I'm expecting to see this your guys' sheet. Barely any Kazas, if any at all. Maybe a couple, but so many passes. The entire thing, nothing but passes.
And then that turn 16, Keenbender to Cindertail touchdown.
Yeah. Just write it in.
Yep. Just write it in. Yeah, no, I mean, obviously I'm picking myself. I ain't never gonna bet against myself. But yeah, this will be a good match. I love my matches against Laws. They've always been entertaining. Yeah, I mean it's if you look at the win rates, I believe it's over the course of the NKBBL, this is the number 1 and the number 2 in terms of overall win rate. So regardless of the record this season, this is still a pretty heavyweight match. And I think for both sides, this match is kind of going to be the tilting point for the rest of the season. If there's a playoff run to be made for either of these squads, I think it starts this week.
Yeah.
Because Mighty Rat's getting a win. I mean, that gives them 4 points, and then they automatically are popped up, and they are in front of the Guardians. The Guardians win. They put it at 6 points, and then they start to build that momentum moving forward. And I mean, even if it's a tie, I think the one thing that it is probably going to be less beneficial to both these squads is the tie.
Yeah, the tie would. Tie is.
I think it'd be funny.
Yeah,
both these coaches are going to do everything in their power.
It keeps
to not get the tie.
Keeps both of us.
Somebody wants that win.
Yeah, the tie keeps both of us in that limbo of kind of the low to mid standings. So it'll be a good one. I'm looking forward to it. All right, the Luchadors take on the Dragonaires. Remember we said the Dragonaires, the 14th ranked team, is undefeated this season. So just saying, no pressure. Although the betting line is set to Ciudad El Gigante at 0.34. The board is split. Aggie and Boomer say it's going to be the Luchadors, and Lucy says, I believe Dragonaires. I don't know. She's really hung up on the Mighty Rats. It's just
Mighty Rats.
My bad.
She just can't stop thinking about them.
She just can't stop thinking about it.
Well, if they tie, that benefits the Rats too, doesn't it? Because that would,
yeah,
that's what she was thinking.
Yeah, this is another bowl division. Yeah, this is another bowl division matchup. So, Yeah, what do you guys think?
I'm gonna make another bold prediction. Just because of the history that the Luchadors have presented, this might be a tie.
You think?
I don't think I know. I'm using my mind's eye. I'm astral projecting into the future. I predict this is going to be a tie.
Yeah.
I am actually going to go on the opposite end and say that the Luchadors specifically, because of the sheer frustration of having the history of ties, they are going to possibly crank up the aggression just so they to either win or at least lose going down swinging. They may just crank it up a notch and just be like pulling out some more wild plays just to see if they could secure a win rather than just taking another tie, because I think they are at a mindset where they're like they're slowly getting more and more comfortable with more and more stretch plays, throwing teammates, and just pulling the wild plays that are required of a tier 3 team. And I think they're just might be at that point where if they have the luck holds out for them, they may actually pull a win out of it. So I'm actually that I can't say which team is going to win, but I am calling a no tie. Somebody's going to win this match.
Yeah.
I
All
do
right.
think
Both
I am.
coaches are going to be hungry. They're hungry.
Yeah, I do expect this to be a very high CAS game.
Mhm.
Oh, and that
All
as
right.
well.
I got a call. I got the call. Sorry, Jacob. It's Joe's time to win. I will say this. I'm looking at it right now. Joe has a third reroll. How many of his matches has he lost because of last minute roll?
It's true.
Yeah.
That
We're-
third
That's
reroll
fair.
might
That
be
is fair.
critical, I think. I mean, granted, the Dragonaires have a lot of block, so even with Mighty Blow and big guys, you roll into a self-down, both down.
Yep.
That's bad. But like Cody was saying, I think he's going to go all out for this because his season's on the line too right now. Like they're both on the bottom end of the standings. He has a lot of tie breaking because of all of his CAS, right?
Mhm.
So he needs a win to bump him up to 5 points, which would leapfrog him up into the top 4.
Mhm.
So like
Yeah.
he really
I
needs
mean, with that third reroll, I think it's possible he's 2-1.
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
play.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. 14th rank is undefeated. Give me the Dragonaires. For no reason other than
I
that.
love it. Yeah, it's like, and I mean, Dragonaires had an absolutely stellar first match. I mean, if they pull that shit off again this match, I wouldn't even be mad.
Yep.
No. Yeah.
But I just my simple gut is telling me the ties are done. The tie time is we're done with ties in this league, boys. We're not doing it no more.
The tie
no more ties.
comes
You're
off.
either gonna win or you're gonna lose trying. Okay.
Yep.
We're done here.
All right. All right. The Snooze host the Aliens. The line set to the Aliens at 0.23. And the analysts are unanimous in the Aliens. You know, I think I agree. I just faced this coach. Aliens are no joke, and I think this might be the lowest armor team that you've faced yet this year.
I've been waiting for an armor team that's not 10.
Yep.
Or well, hold on. So armor. Yeah, Trolls week 1, you week 3.
Mm-hmm.
I played the Skulkers week 2. That was my first win.
Yep.
And I knocked out half his team.
Yep. So with 3 big guys, I expect more of the same personally, but
yeah, I'm looking forward to this because to me this is honestly a trap game. Like I might be looking forward to playing this. Just looking forward to the next 2 matches, which are going to be really bad. But that could be enough, especially with the speed. My team is slow. I could see this being an upset, but I'm looking forward to punching things if the game gets good. So yeah,
I think I would probably put money on the Aliens as well, just because a solid coach with a pretty well developed team by this point. I mean, have one of the most developed teams in the league, and going against a fresh Amazon team. The coach is learning quite quickly and like getting better as far as I can see, and learning. And I agree, like you are gonna have a much easier time cracking that armor of such a low armor team, but all that dodge, you have to hit them first. You
true.
got to get that. You got to get that POW. You got to.
You got to play the game. You got to.
think-
Yeah.
You
I think it might be Jawblitz's game.
Mm-hmm.
Jawblitz and Dusk Runner. I mean, they're the answers, right? Like block tackle and wrestle
Don't
diving
talk about
tackle.
my favorite players.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Zod, but he's just big talk, man. He's a punk.
Hey, he's got a lot to prove this week.
He does.
My money's on the aliens for all the everything listed. I also expect a lot of dead Amazons just because I expect these aliens to go full force.
Yeah.
And
I'd
if
love to
not
get a
dead,
couple
at least broken armor.
Mhm.
Yeah, that might be more accurate versus
I know.
kills.
Yeah, it's like I'm. It's no question of the breaking armor. It's I just want is if the dice rolls are with you on your block dice, then you will have a good time. But if you can't manage to get those pals when you need them, you're just
Yeah.
gonna be shuffling around, shuffling a lot of Amazons.
Yeah. True.
And then, I mean, not to mention inducement. I didn't even.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
notice that.
every game
He's rolling in with
that
13 or 385.
that's the
Woo!
Yeah.
I think that's the
Check,
that's the
checkbook is
record this season.
open.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
best.
when you have three big guys,
Yeah.
I mean, every match you play, unless if it's another redrafted team, is going to be a
Yep.
checkbook.
Yep.
So it's just part of the season at this point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I think that
So.
might be the record so far for this season.
Yeah, I think that's the
I think
highest.
so. I fired players before our match because it's like I'm not giving you.
You're not giving me that much. All right, we'll move right along. The Matriarchs take on the Dark Iron. The line is set to the Dark Iron at 0.42, and the analysts are unanimous in saying the Dark Iron are going to win. What do you guys think?
Despite the fact that the Matriarchs are nimble, they are quick, I still have nightmares about dwarves, so my money's on the Dark Iron.
Yeah. Well, you've played both these squads.
I have played
Yeah.
both these squads, and just from the way they play, neither of them are bad at the game by any means, but just the way they play, I see the Dark Iron getting I see them getting a W for sure. I do think, despite, again, all the Matriarchs are quite fast. I don't know that they'll be able to beat a cage of dwarves. Especially with now that we got all these blocks and mighty blows, I expect it to be a very uphill match for the Matriarchs.
I will say, I think this is on paper. This is a very tough matchup for the Matriarchs. I will say this for my prediction. I think the Matriarchs are going to be the ones to score the first touchdown on you this season. I think they can do it. They have the speed. I think it's possible. They know how to work an offense. It's just surviving long enough to actually win a match is the question against you. So
Yeah, it's like absolutely. I've gone into every single one of my matches not anticipating at least taking 1 point against me, and it's just so happens that it just kind of doesn't work out that way. It's not a lot of times. It's just random dice rolls that are just like disadvantageous for my opponents that allow me to get the ball, and that's really the only reason. I think he has a very good possibility of scoring against me. However, I don't think I'm going to lose to him. Or if I do lose to him, I'm going to make it very painful and punishing him for it.
Yeah. I mean, Matriarchs get 60K, so small inducement package. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough matchup. Like Amazon versus Dwarfs. Like on paper, if you remove the coaches, like you just have a team with dodge, and then you have a team with a lot of tackle built in. So it becomes a hard proposition. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. It'll be a good match regardless. This is my first time playing against an Amazon team, so I'm looking forward to it. I've never got the chance to play them. I've wanted to try to play them for a while, and this is my chance, and I'm excited for it.
Cool. All right, some practice before your second matchup with Amazons later.
Oh, yeah,
I believe
fair enough.
you have another Amazon on the schedule, I believe.
I do, yes, I do. I have the snooze about 3 or 4 games from them. Yeah.
All right, but let's talk about The stream match. Uptown's Chosen Grung are going to host the Manhattan Mutant Mayhem. The line is set to the Grung at 0.23, and the analyst, even Aggie, says the Grung are going to win. How do you feel about that, Ivan?
That's just more bulletin board material. Don't get me wrong. His team's very. The coach of Ubatu's Chosen Grung. They have a very developed team. They're good at playing the game. This is going to be a very hard match for me, but I do think I can squeak out the W. It will be not a high scoring game. I don't expect either of us to get more than 2. But my prediction, and I'm calling it, I think I can win it 2-1.
Okay. All right.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I mean you've got 220. So you'll have 220 in spending money.
And a Minotaur.
Yep. And now you have a Minotaur. So
that's going to be the key.
I think it leans on whether or not, Leatherhead is ready to stomp on some frogs.
I can assure you he is. He comes from the swamp. He's ready.
Yeah.
This is why I think most, if not everybody, voted to see this match stream, because this is going to be a good match to watch. Yep. We have 2 solid coaches, one coach that is excelling at passing and shifting the ball around and trying to hop over lines and score. I mean, and then we have the upset from Manhattan, and literally just the 2-1 mutants that are slowly developing even to more and more devastating team. And I think this clash is going to be 2 clashes of 2 different types of teams, and it's just going to be a fun match to watch.
I'm
excited for this one.
Yep.
Very much.
The linemen, I love chaos teams. For most chaos teams, linemen, you can random mutations, and I mean you've done a lot of random generals, and all of your generals besides shadowing are like A+ S tier. Like those are all good generals. That's gonna be huge, I think, because the linemen.
I have been very pleased with my random generals so far.
Yeah, especially the strip ball shenanigans against some of those the catchers. It's Timothy and Titsa. That's the game. Like, can you stop these elite scoring threats in the league from scoring it? And
I need you to know that Timothy and Titsa are the wallpaper on the coach's phone. So I know he means business.
Yeah. So I mean, it's you've got an inducement package, you've got a Minotaur, he's got some souped up catchers, some really good blitzers. I mean it'll be an exciting match. You both got big guys to toss each other around. I'm looking forward to this match. This was my vote as well, because we've got two good coaches, also 2 great coaches in terms of like attitude about the game. So I think it'll be an enjoyable watch.
2 great guys.
Just 2 good guys. And you can see these 2 great guys right here on YouTube. You can see it on Twitch later today, which not today, but today when this comes out, on the 16th at around 6 Eastern time. And then the replay will be forever on YouTube the Wednesday following. So I mean, when you come in, you're gonna see some keys to the match for both of these coaches. You might get another commercial, who knows? And then you're gonna see a great game of Blood Bowl. So check us out there. We got anything else? Any words of wisdom?
Good luck to all the coaches. It'll be have fun. And Blood Bowl, baby.
Yep. All right. Well, this has been Blood Bowl. This has been Wartscenter. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you next time.